All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Chaos Zero Number video. This is Mr. Squirrel, as always. Glad to have you here. So, wanted to go over CHIZURU's kit, her Epiphanies, because they did on the JP version release them. People on the Reddit were very kind enough to do an AI translate of them, and we have kind of her full kit here. I will say overall, called it a little bit. She is going to synergize well with Tressa. I kind of saw this coming just because you have a free to play character that has a couple teammates in the game that do synergize well with her, namely like Hugo, Cassius, but there are players that just don't have these characters, right? Like Cassius is not, you don't have a guarantee pull on Cassius. You don't have a guarantee on Hugo. You have to re-roll for them. That can take a long time. Not everyone did that. So you want to create a way to create this free to play character that you have and give them an opportunity to thrive with characters that you can release or give them guarantees, which would be the CHIZURU, who is going to synergize well with Tressa. Okay, let's talk about why she synergizes well with Tressa. Here we go. So let's go over her kit and then we'll go over her epiphanies. So generally, I'm just going to give an overview of her kit and what it does. So long story short, this card right here. So she's going to, I can actually just scroll over these cards. So she does an initiation. She starts out with this card in hand, the Karmic Flames. She will apply a debuff called Cursed Shackles. And so what that will do, Curse Shackles adds one hit. Now, what does Curse Shackles do? So if we go back here, when an ally uses an attack card other than bind card on a target with Curse Shackles, CHIZURU gains one Will-O-Wisp. So why do you want to gain Will-O-Wisp? When you gain 5 Will-O-Wisps, they will be converted into a Shadow of the Moon card. Now, when you get, and that's this card right here, Shadow of the Moon, you'll get bind 1, retain. Okay, when you generate, now mind you, you can continue to generate Will-O-Wisps over time as you generate more and more and more Will-O-Wisps. So you want to generate 15 Will-O-Wisps in turn. Now, why would you say you want to generate 15 Will-O-Wisps? Why this specific number of Will-O-Wisps? Because you want 3 of these, at minimum 3 Shadow of the Moon cards, because when 3 Shadow of the Moon cards bind together, you will create Shadow of the Moon Plus. Now, Shadow of the Moon Plus is very important. It adds a heal. Now, if you don't get it, she will lose some what's the right way to say this? Like overall utility, because she doesn't get the heal. That heal is going to be very important, I think, just for sustainability reasons. She is kind of like a sub-ish DPS, and will enable teams to kind of like, it gives you just a little bit of flexibility with your team. Now, again, you can generate up to 5 of these Shadow of the Moons, and so you can do a ton of damage. Now, you can also take note, you don't need to use Shadow of the Moon, and you can actually take this up over multiple turns because there is a retain effect on these cards. So you don't need to throw this out at the end of the turn. You can just build this up over time, which is really nice. I actually like this mechanic. I think this is nice. So essentially what you want to do is you want to throw this Karmic Flames debuff like card out, get the debuff onto the enemy. Once the debuff's there, you're just going to throw, attack cards. Now, it is important to note is that right here, they do make note for Will-O-Wisps, you can attain, where is it? The more hits a card deals, the more easily you can acquire exclusive resources using the Tsuyomi card, which is this card right here. So Will-O-Wisps, each hit of the next attack card so 2 Will-O-Wisps for each hit of the next attack card of this unit used, which means it wants to synergize well with Oni Hunt, because Oni Hunt does actually quite a bit of hits. So you can get more Will-O-Wisps, long story short. You gain additional exclusive resource equal to the number of hits on the attack cards, allowing you to accumulate exclusive resources. Now, the thing that's important to acknowledge here is that Curse Shackles, when an ally uses an attack card other than a bind card on a target with Curse Shackles, CHIZURU gains 1 Will-O-Wisp. Now, you might be saying, okay, so you said earlier in the video, why is Tressa, so if we go over here, why is Tressa considered one of her better teammates? Because Tressa here gets a ton of daggers. So you can generate immense amounts of Will-O-Wisps with the daggers. Now, remember when I said earlier about like, oh my God, like that was the issue I was having with Hugo, is that you can actually overgenerate Will-O-Wisps. Now, I think Ray will be a very good teammate for her. I'm going to bounce back in a minute to talk about her epiphanies, but I do actually think that Orlea will also be a very good teammate for them as well because of the shielding, and then Softy can also increase damage. I think all of these things actually will be really well synergized for both Tressa and CHIZURU. So I actually think Orlea will also be a phenomenal teammate for these two characters, and actually is probably the way I'm going to run the team is going to be CHIZURU, Tressa, and then Orlea. I will test that team out. I am very curious about CHIZURU. I like the fact that she has a heal. I like this mechanic where it's like you're trying to generate and like bind cards together as much as possible. I think that's really, really, really interesting. Overall, to me, it seems really cool. Let's go back here. So so generally speaking, now the other thing I want to talk about, a card that really stands out, is this Bound of Dusk. So this is a upgrade card. At the start of turn, you gain Inhibit. Now you might be saying, what is Inhibit? Inhibit cannot gain AP except for at the start of the turn or on Ravage. So that means that you really want to gain AP early on in the fight. Well, I'm sorry. That means that Mika, long story short, Mika does not work well with her at all. Mika and her are anti-friends. So what does it do? Add 1 hit to Shadow the Moon Plus. So you get more hits of these cards right here, meaning it's going to do more damage, which is great, right? It makes it so that these things do more, but it also limits you in the amount of AP that you can generate in a turn. And there are other ways, unless you're ravaging the enemy. So overall, this is a unique upgrade. I'm curious to see how this one will work out. I think we'll talk more about the Epiphanies in a moment. I will talk a little bit about her ego skill. So this does 250% damage. Each Shadow of the Moon card does more damage based on the amount of Shadow Moon cards you create. So at the very end, you want to use this at the end of a turn, not the beginning. This is kind of like a closing ability. Yeah, that's pretty much the best way I can describe it. Okay, her partner. Now, I do want to say the Manifest Ego is the one that actually makes me very, very curious. I think her 1 and 2 are actually very good. Again, we see that similar trend where Manifest Ego 1, Manifest Ego 2 are incredibly good. And I think the rest of these are nice to haves, but 1 and 2 feel like they will help her kit just kind of seamlessly transition together just a little bit. I will say part of the reason I like level 1 is because you increase the amount of healing you're getting. So you're going from a 5% heal to an 8% heal. That is a noticeable change. And then level 2, it is whenever using a Shadow of the Moon Plus card, create 1 Shadow of the Moon card, which means you're getting more bind, it just means you're going to do more. That's it. I think this will make her, her Shadow of the Moon will do more damage. That's what that's telling me. Okay, and then finally her partner. So this is Itsuku, passive Tranquil. The assigned combatant's attack increased by 8 to 16% every time the assigned combatant cards stack, plus 5% to 10% attack card damage amount. So every time the assigned combatant's cards stack. Okay, so she's just getting more damage. Okay, got it. Yeah, yep, bind. Every time 1 attack card type used by the assigned combatant deals 3 hits, 30. Oh, that's just free damage. Wow, that's a lot of free damage. She's a very good. That's a good partner. Wow. Okay. Yikes. And then her ego, Moonlit Leisure for ego. That's a lot of points. 200% damage to all enemies. Applies Fierce Winds effect. Plus 50% damage amount to attack cards of the assigned combatant for 1. Wow. Okay, so you use this at the very beginning. Okay, so this thing is just meant to supercharge CHIZURU into doing insane levels of damage. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to say, does she seem very good? CHIZURU seem very good. Yes, but she also seems, we don't know her exact numbers. I do want to be very cautious of this. I'm going to do one quick thing. I want to show this right here. So this was just kind of how her kit kind of synergizes well together. So here she does applies the 1 Curse Shackles. You can see Curse Shackle plus 1. Now, they're going to apply, here we see Tressa with the daggers. So 1 dagger, 2 daggers. So she's got 2, now mind you, 2 Will-O-Wisps. Okay, she generates, that means she just generated 2 Will-O-Wisps. She's going to buff up her Oni Hunt. Now her Oni Hunt, okay, does more damage now. And look at that damage. Okay, now that generated 2 Will-O-Wisps here. So you can see 2 Will-O-Wisps, 2 Shadow of the Moon cards that are going to bind together. That's why you saw it kind of, that animation just trigger the way it did. Ooh, sorry. Okay, and that creates those 2 right there. Again, this is from the Chaos Zero Nightmare team, and then that is the Shadow of Moon card. Now that wasn't the Shadow of Moon Plus card, but that was the Shadow of Moon card. Okay, so overall, you kind of see how our kit, I think we can just kind of watch this next part right here. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to apply more. They just did Tressa's ego skill. Okay, more shadow. Okay, they're healing up here. Do they have the shackle on? I think they already have the shackle on. Yep, they do because it's the Shadow of the Moon cards being generated. Okay, now they're doing more hits. This just binded up the Shadow of the Moon again. Now they got the Shadow of the Moon Plus card. Now you can see 404 damage times 4, heal 5% max HP, plus 20% for the bind stacks. Again, this is meant to do immense amounts of damage. And then finally, they're going to just demonstrate. Oh, did they not do her ego skill? Her ego skill looks very cool. Actually, I will show her ego skill because it looks dope. Yeah, here we go. This is the ego skill. I wanted to show this. And this is you would use at the end of the fight, at the end of the turn, not the beginning of it. Because you want to make sure you're generating more. Oh, okay. That was it. So overall, I think she seems like a very cool character. I do want to just go over one quick thing really fast before we move on, and that is going over her epiphanies. So when you look at these epiphanies, this is to the I think what is it called? Sorry, they didn't translate the top of the words. I'm gonna have these cards just pulled up here. So this is for the Karmic Flames. This is where she applies one curse shackle. So this is gonna be her primary, one of the most primary cards of her kit. So 150%. So all of these, oh good, they keep initiation. That would have been so annoying. So one issue I have with Hugo is that you can lose initiation. Oh, don't even like sometimes I just don't even epiphany some of his cards. So 150% damage applies curse shackle plus one hit. Oh, interesting. So it's giving you more hits on the curse shackle. That's very good. 150% damage applies curse shackles curse shackle next card minus one cost. Interesting. Okay, so they're just making sure that you less damage. They're adding more damage, so increase curse shackle damage by 100%. Okay, applies curse shackle generates one Shadow of the Moon card. Ooh, initiation, but also increase cost. Ooh, you might if you can get like a Nephilim and reduce the cost of that, that could be dope. And then initiation exhaust applies curse shackle when a target with curse shackle is defeated. Create this card. Oh, that's interesting. But my only worry here is that if you run out of AP in a turn, then you just lose that card. That card could be interesting. I think that'll be a very good one. I really like that idea though, that you just get it back. That to me seems really nice for like hard fights where the enemy could potentially die. And that's my one issue is that there might be issues. She seems very good at bossing. Might struggle with more AoE situations. Maybe. Okay. Let's go over. This is gonna be again. This is going to be the Tsukiyomi. So next own attack card gains plus one hit. Gain three list for each hit of the next own attack card. This is just an upgraded version of that card. Gain three list for the next hit of the next attack card. That could be anyone's attack card. The next Shadow Moon plus gains plus two hits. Okay. I don't know if I like that one. Gain 3 wisp per attack card in hand. This could be really interesting if you pull the skill, if you get this epiphany, and then you're running Tressa, and then you just have a ton of attack cards in hand. This could actually work out really well. You could just generate straight up, like, get full the Shadow of the Moon plus card right away. It's very, that card, I like that card a lot. Unique lead when using your own attack card, gain 2 Will-O-Wisp. Okay, fair enough. This is going to be the upgrade card right here, the Bound at Dusk. Okay, initiation and unique at the start of turn gain inhibit. Cost of 2 random cards in hand reduced by 1, so not just hers, but 2 random cards. I kind of like that. That just makes it easier to cast cards. At the start of turn gain 2 inhibit. When using Shadow of the Moon plus cost of the next card reduced by 1 until used. It's okay. At the start of turn, gain inhibit, activate 2 random cards of other combatants. That could be very interesting. That could just reduce AP. I like that idea a lot. At the start of turn, gain inhibit, activate 2 random lead cards. I think that just means initiation cards. Lead. I thought they changed that lead word to initiation. I don't know. They do that every now and then. That word throws me off a little bit. At the start of the turn, gain inhibit cost the highest card in hand is reduced by 2 until used. If you're using it with more like bigger cost cards, I could see that. That just seems like a worse version for right now in my brain of the one right above my head. Yeah. So I like the one right above my head. I think that's one that I'm going to go with. I like that one a lot. Okay. Last one, the Oni Hunt. So 50% damage times 4. The next damage of the bind should be bind card plus 40%, 180% damage of the next. You'd want this one where it's the. I don't like the idea of losing the number of hits because she does want lots of hits. There's no other attack card. Well, I mean, if you do increase the hit, this one is 180% damage times, like you'll increase the hit chance or the hit count on this by like another one. That could be interesting. 60 times 3 if there's no other attack cards in hand, gain plus 2 hits. Oh, interesting. So this is where you want to throw all of your cards before you throw this out. Okay, fair enough. Create 2 Shadow of the Moon. I like this one too. These are all good. Create 2 Shadow of the Moon. Grant Ephemeral to them and reduce the cost by 1 until used. Oh, interesting. Okay, Shadow of the Moon Plus gains plus 40% damage at the start of turn. Gain 3 OS. So this is now an upgrade card. Interesting. A lot of these are very good. I actually overall really like these epiphanies. I think she seems like a really interesting character. And I think her epiphanies only add to her interestingness. Again, I do think I'm definitely going to pull for her. To me, she seems really cool. And again, she synergizes very well with Tressa. I will just highlight this point right here. Where is it? Sorry. Oh, I also want to give credit to the people that did the translations. So I'm going to give credit here to No Run 6446 and then to Uriel and W123. Thank you for the info that was put up on the website. You guys did a great job. I appreciate so much that you guys synthesized, like took screenshots, put them up, made it a lot easier to kind of cover this video. So I do want to give credit to them. Overall, I think CHIZURU is someone that, again, if you really like Tressa, personally, I really like Tressa. And I do want to say, I do think, now, mind you, it is important to take note that Tressa and Ray are both on her banner. This is a very self contained banner. I think this is going to be a very good banner for newer players because if you don't have Ray at high copies, I think Ray will work very. Excuse me, Ray will work very well with her. I do think Tressa is probably one of her best friends. I do think Yuki can work with her because of the AoE situation. I do think she may struggle a little bit with AoEs just because of the way the debuff or the I keep forgetting the name of these cards. Sorry, I'm still learning, like trying to get the name of the cards down. It's this one right here. Oops, sorry. Karmic Flames works 100% damage, 1 cursed shackles. So like you don't have this. She does lose a lot of her kit, but you can get rid of that issue with epiphanies. So we'll see. I think overall, very cool character. Like her a lot. And I'm definitely gonna, I think, pull for her. I think she's, the fact that she's got a heal sub DPS, these characters tend to age very well. I always think of like Topaz, who is still to this day in Honkai Star Rail very good. This character offers the same kind of, I feel, is giving me similar vibes. So I could be totally wrong though, and she could be absolute garbage, and who knows. But we'll see. Overall, hope this video helps. And as always, remember, failing is just your first attempt at learning.